Hello, folks. Thank you so much for coming to the Volunteer Code walkthrough. Samuel is our lead developer at Trufi Association, and he is going to walk through the GitHub, explain a little bit about what the Trufi Core GitHub is, what the architecture is, and how you can get started if you are interested in becoming a volunteer developer for Trufi. And we are recording this meeting so that folks who cannot make it can also view this later. So then, Samuel, I will pass the stage over to you and turn off my camera as well. And yeah, really looking forward.
Okay, then I will start sharing my screen. And let me know when you can see it.
Yep, I see the open trip planner screen.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I want to tell you how our application works. At this time, we will talk about just the front end. We are using Open Trip Planner without any modification. So it means if you can mount your own trip planner on your own computer, or even if you want to use a different Open Trip Planner instance, you can use with our front end. So that's the first thing what you need to know. So this is the current application, how it's working. Maybe I can just share the link on the chat. Then you can play around while I'm talking about the workshop. So basically, this is the front end, and the Open Trip Planner is the back end. And there's an opportunity. I will talk about the front end and how we develop there, and how it's made it, and also about the architecture. First of all, if you want to run it, you need to download Flare. I hope you already know that, and that's the reason why you are here. But just in case, this is the framework what we are using, or the technology what we are using for develop our front end project. Okay, and also the repository is here. For this opportunity, I will use the branch develop. I will also share the link on the chat if you want to see it right now. But later, we will share you all links what we are watching here. So that's not a problem. So do you have any question until now? Maybe
No
different.
Questions. I don't see any questions so far.
Okay, so then we are done on the backend. I hope that's clear. So I will just close it. So now let's go to the main architecture, how it works. Our vision of Trufi Core is to create a library, or a Flare library, where you can see a base modules, base features, what we can share in the different projects. The idea at the beginning of the vanilla app was to create one app, then share the applications and different cities, just changing the name, the branding, the logo, and also the backend. So that was the idea. But recently we had a new requirement, what requires also change some screens, or completely a screen. So that was not possible because we only can change the branding, But so for that reason, we need to change the architecture about how Trufi Core works. So basically, we have a library. What is this one? This project is a library, okay? And this library is getting different screens from different applications. This screen is also part of Trufi Core, but not is like a feature what you can use, is not really required to use that. So for now, we have three screens. What's already done on inside the Trufi Core. The first one is the home screen. Maybe we can change it because that's mostly for routing part. The first screen is this one. As you can see here, we have a menu. So the show route or home screen is the first screen what we have. Then we have saved places screen is the second one. This place is where you can save your favorite places, or also you can convert your where everything what you are trying to search with plus with heart button. Then it will save it here on this screen. So that's the second screen, and the third screen is basically the list of buses, where you can see whole list of buses. Then if you click on it, you can see the whole route of that bus. That is part of the vanilla app, and I mean the base screens what is inside the Trufi Core, what you can use if you want. But if you don't like the home screen, and if you want your own home screen, that's also possible. You can bring your custom home screen that we also use for bike app, but you also want to, you only need to want to change the home screen, but you want to keep the saved places and list buses, and that's also possible. That's why it's important to use or know how RouteMaster works. And this is another library, maybe you already know or maybe not yet, but that's the library what introduced it for Navigator.2.0. And that's pretty similar, like how it works on React, if you're familiar with that. But that's basically the base of routing of your application. So that's everything what you selected is passed as collection of a screen on the RouteMaster configuration. Then that's applied to Trufi Core. So here you can see that we already have some base modules. For example, we have a block multi-providers. That's because we are using the block patterns on our project. So it means each screen can pass as parameter all providers, then it will available for you inside the Trufi Core. So also you can see the theme and localization. Theme and localization are the base of the application. So you can also pass your theme. Also, you can pass your translation for your screen. So that's part of the Trufi Core, where basically all of three modules or features, they are responsible of manage the blocks, the theming, and the localizations. Okay. Also inside the Trufi Core, we have a qubit and blocks, such as they are part of the base of Trufi, and also there are translations, what is basically part of Trufi bases, and also the OTP models. What is the OTP models? I already told you. Then we are using the OpenTruth Planner as backend. So probably we will do some requests there. So it means we need to convert the response to models. So that's what we already have inside the Trufi Core. So you can use that. So that's basically the architecture what we have. Then I can continue showing you exactly in which part is each screen and how it works in code, because right now it seems like not real visible. So for continue, maybe you have a question?
Yeah, we have a question. So Adina asks, what are the providers mentioned in block multi-providers?
Okay. In Flutter, you have a block, you have some patterns. One of them is block. I guess is this one. Yeah, each block has providers. I mean, you can have your qubit and your state. So you may need to. That's more for state management. So each screen has own state. You know. So it means if you have own states somewhere, you may need to manage your provider. It's possible also to wrap only your screen with some provider, but it's more I don't know how to say, but that's more like better performance if you put in one place all providers, because in some cases when you go back to home screen, it will reload again your state. So that's the reason why Trufi Core also manage the whole providers of the blocks. Is it answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, then I can continue. This is the application. I'm on the development branch. If you go to the main or master branch, you can't see it, the latest version, you know. So wait a second, I can just undo. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if you are already familiar with libraries or packages on Flutter, but usually how it looks, it's inside the main project, and inside on the main lib folder you can see all code what you need. Then you can have some ID. For example, here we have the ID, what is the Trufi Core. Then you can use that in different projects. For example, here we have an example project. Inside the example project, we are importing Trufi Core, and Trufi Core is going up one level. So inside the main file of this example, we are calling Trufi App. Okay, so for Trufi App, that's basically a material app. Okay, so here you can send your parameters, what you want to change, for example, the title, and also the providers, and also the routing, what I already talked before. Here, each screen has own providers, then you need to send your providers and also your screens. So for now, they are using we are using the default value. That's why I mentioned that inside the Trufi Core is located the whole default screen what we have. As I told you before, they are optionals. If you want, you can send your own root delegate and with your own root information parser if you want. If you don't like RouteMaster, maybe you can use a different root manager, or even you can implement yourself. So the important thing here is since we are using the default screens, if we go here inside the root delegate, if we go there, the root delegate is basically the RouteMaster delegate, and inside there are they are whole screens. For example, here we have a home root. Home root is basically a string, and that's home. Okay. So also here you can see the transport list root, and we're using but the variable because we will use in different places the screen ID or direction. So here you can see we are using the home page, the transport list, And also we are using the saved places, and also we have the dummy screens, what's not yet implemented. As you can see here, the about not yet implemented is just dummy words, and also the feedback, send with feedback. But they're already here. The structure is already there. So what's missing is just the body. So they are basically the default screens what we have. So if you want different screens or different behavior of the screens, or even if you don't like this drawer, you can pass your own screens or your own route manager. So as I know right now, we are using the RouteMaster, and that's what is inside the default values here. And if we go back here, as I told you, we also need the default providers, and default providers is also part of each screen. For example, here we have providers. The first thing is the transport route transport qubit. That's what we are using for the routing. Then you can have search location. This qubit or this block is used by two screens, the home screen and also the saved places screen. So if you want to use this screen, the home screen, and also the saved places screen, you also need to send the search places. We will add some documentation about which screen use which block provider. So as you can see, there are some providers. All providers is used by all projects, all screens. Sorry, but this provider is also part of the default values. So here is how we are instancing the default values for screens without any major changes. As you can see here, you can also change your app name, the app name title, and also your app name and your CD name. And also here on the providers, you can see there are an OTP endpoint, OTP GraphQL endpoint. Since each block use some service, they need some endpoint for call to the OTP. So that's what we are sending here. And also you can have the map configuration, for example, where should be the started point of your map, and that's what we have here. Okay, so do you have any question until now?
I don't see any questions in the chat, but I actually have a question.
Okay.
So I see that you have this open. This is in Visual Studio Code, right?
Yeah.
So when you go to the GitHub, do you just clone it to your desktop and then open this on your desktop in Visual Studio Code? Is that like what you would suggest?
I mean, this is the repository.
Mm-hmm.
You can clone by yourself, depending on which way you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
You can use HTTP or SSH, or even you can use GitHub client. So that's typical Git flow, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You need to clone and then open that folder with some editor what you prefer.
Yeah, but it's open locally on your computer is the question.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Then I can proceed, I hope. Okay. Now we already see what the current Trufi needs for the instance yet. For example, if you want to use a different instance and different city, you only need to change those values, and then you can have a running application. But here you can see how is the structure of the Trufi application. Here is the whole providers. Those providers are the base providers what we need. The first thing is the theming, and another thing is the localization. So this theming is basically for manage the current theme and change the color and so on. And Trufi localization is basically for manage the current language or the different language what we can have. And as you can see here, we are using the spread operator for combine the all providers what we can provide of the instantiation. And also, as you can see, we are using the material app router because we are using the routing form of the material app. And the material app router asks us to provide two parameters. The first thing is route information parser. That's what we already sending. And here by default, we are using the RouteMaster. And also we need to provide the route delegate who will be responsible to manage the routing part. So that's how the base work. And also this is how the multi-provider works. Now here you can see whole multi-provider is wrapped by another widget, what's called App Life Cycle Reactor. That's basically used by turn on and turn off the GPS, because the GPS is also part of the Trufi core or the Trufi base, because we use in different parts of the application. First, we use for show your current position on the map, and also for share some places, and then you can press your current position. Then also is used by different features. But we want to turn off the GPS when you switch the applications, or when you go to another application. Then when you go back, we want to turn off again. And that's the only reason why this widget is wrapping whole application. Okay, and then another thing what's really important for us, since as you can see we are already supporting the web structure or the web version, is we don't need when you change some values here, for example, if we change the language, the screen is not reloading. And also if we change the theming, the screen is not reloading. In some cases, without RouteMaster, it was with a bug, because only on web part. So when you change something, the whole application will reload. So that's the reason why we have our own theme manager and localization manager. And that's the reason why we are using the default values here. And that's the reason why we are using an helper here. As you can see, we are wrapping again. We are using base Trufi page. This widget should wrap all screen at the beginning point. If we go back to the default pages, here you can see we are wrapping with no animation page. If we open the no animation page, you can see here that we are wrapping the whole no animation page with Trufi base Trufi page. So as you can see, we are wrapping all screens. So it means if you create your own screen, you you also need to wrap with non-animation page for getting the correct behavior. What exactly did this base Trufi page is basically managing the theme and also managing the localization. So we are basically overriding the default material app theming and localization manager. So that's really important how it works. Okay. Now, talking about more the localizations, I'm not sure if you are already familiarized with ARB files, and I never see it before the Flutter, but they are basically like a JSON of all words what you can have or what you want to have, but with extra features. There are in internet a lot of ARB managers. There are a lot of tools where you can only put your default language, then you can translate all words using Google Translate or wherever. There are a lot of tools, and you can Google it. Since I'm not using too much here, and so I can't recommend you. Maybe some another people from Trufi can suggest you which tool you can use for it. But I know there are some people using Localize. Yeah, this one. But this one you need to pay for it. But maybe there are another solutions. Maybe there are some open source solution. But as I know, the ARB files, they are standards. So there are some script here, what is running the Flutter Gen L10M, what is part of the default of the internalizing, yeah. Here we are using for localization the default translations of Flutter. So it means you can this documentation is also valid for get more information. So as you can see here, they're using the delegate. Each type of pattern design has own localization delegates. For example, if you want to use material widgets, you could also import the global material localizations. Also, you want to use Cupertino, but or also the default widgets. But for us, we are using we are already using that, as you can see it here. And also we are using the default translation of what we have. And also we are adding the localizations delegates from each screen what you want to have. So on Trufi-based localizations, what we have here is the most common values what we can use. For example, we'll probably whole application we will use walk or the about or show some errors or just the OK button or select origin, so on. And also we have the translation for saved places here, and there are not too much, I guess. Yeah, but the saved places translation is basically of this screen translation. Okay, so right now we already have translated your places. I can change to English. Yeah, your places is already translated, and also some menu. But what is not yet translated is show bus routes. For example, here you can see they are not yet translated. I don't know what can be translated here, maybe the name or just the work. But there are some screens what is not yet translated, or this one. But since they're just a list of buses and all of the list are basically the name of the bus, I think it's not needed really a translation here. But as you can see here on the title, maybe we can change it. Yeah, there's that's still on English. Or if we change to Deutsch, you can see it. Yeah, that's already translated. Yeah, maybe it's missing for Spanish. Yeah, okay. So the translation or the base of the translation files is inside the translation folder or the root level. Okay, so we use a tool or a command from Flutter, what's called GNL10N. What you can select where is your of the location of your files, or where could be your output and so on. So inside the or where you can see the translation, when you run this script, it will generate the translations folder. Inside the translation folder, you can see a class of translations. What is generated already by the Flutter tool. So everything inside the translation we never touch by ourselves. I mean, we never change the code with hand. If we want to change some word here, we need to change on the translation. Then we need to run the script, and then it will generate it again. That is how it works. So, as I already mentioned, we also have own translation for each screen. So it means inside the saved places, you should have your own translation files. So, and that is what you can see here. And this translation is part of the saved places, what's already translated. So that's it about the translations. I hope, and that's not too complicated. It's too easy if you just change the ARB file, then run the script. Then you don't need to care about what is inside here. Maybe you only need to care about when you are creating your own translation or your own page. Okay. Okay. Now going to the theming part. If you don't have any question.
Yeah, I don't see any questions. So, folks, if you do have questions, please throw them in the chat. All right.
Okay. I know this project and sometimes is kind of bit too big, and that's complicated to understand how it works or why that's there. So, but I think that it will take a while to get understanding how it works. So now going more to the theming part, as I mentioned before, we are not using the default theming management because that's not possible to get your current theme. And this theme selector is just a combo box or select list, and all of that's items are own or custom enums. So if we go, as you can see, this is a qubit, then you can send your state what you want to send, and even you can customize by yourself your theming if you want. So here you can see that's the theme mode. It means the default theme what you will use, and also the brightness if you want the dark mode or if you want the light mode by default. So that's why or that's what they are doing. Since we are also using two types of theming, so it means you need to provide those themings. Those themings are theming data instance, theme data instance. So if we click on it, they are by default, here. So we are customizing the default theming here. So you can change wherever you want here, but the idea is do not touch this part. And if you want your own colors, you need to copy this code and move to your application. Then you can modify and then you can pass it. For example, here what the theme cube needs is just the theme base, Trufi based theme. So you only need to provide your two types of themes, the light mode and the dark mode. And as I already told you, the first one is the default theming, what you want to use, and the second one is the default type. A theme mode is part of three types. The first one is the system. So it means if you select the system, the application will use the theme of your current application. So if in your device you are using the dark mode, the application will use the dark mode too. So that's what system means. And yeah, both they are really clear, I guess. Okay, so now when we go inside the Trufi theme qubit, here you can see the state, and the state we're using basically those states. Both are the themes, one for the lighter and other for the dark mode, and that's the current theme mode and the current brightness. So I think that it's not needed to change a lot of here, because this one is really simple. So what you really should know is how the theming works, or what piece of color you can change. If we go again to the theme in dark, as you can see here, we are using also different colors here, like for the dark mode. That's it, I guess, about the color. And also you can use the copy width. Then if you only want to change the pink color and you want to use your blue color or wherever, that's also possible to use copy width of theming. Since this one is theme data, so theme data is also possible to use a copy width. Maybe it's not. We need to go to the OTP. I already mentioned you that we are using OTP as a backend. So where is that working, or how it works? At the beginning, you see there are two endpoints. The first endpoint is the routing part, and the second endpoint is the for the show boost list. Maybe we could start with the GraphQL part, because that's the most simplest part. If we this endpoint is used for the list boost, right? So for this screen. So if we see the fetch what we are doing, maybe I can just refresh. Right. Yeah, I think that is. Yeah, it's not really visible. Maybe we're using the cache. Sorry. So if we go to that screen, we can see how it's working. So that's part of the transport list. Since we know each screen should be responsible or contain everything what each screen needs. So that's the reason why we have the service folder here. Inside the servers, you can see the whole models what we have here. Regarding to the list of buses, what we need about the buses is the name, is the code, the route, and the geometry. It means the list of the latitude and longitude points, and also the stops. So that's the model. Since we are using GraphQL for it, we are using these models for it. We just need to compare it to response of the GraphQL to some model or some instance what we can use inside the application. So I'm not sure if you're already familiarized with GraphQL, but this one is the request of the GraphQL what we are using. The first one is forget whole list, all list of buses, and the second one is forget the details for when you click on each. GraphQL of that server, you can use any client what you prefer. GraphQL client on, I guess, yeah, maybe this one. Yeah, okay, and here you can see whole information what you can fetch. But for your question, which database we are using, I have no idea, sorry. We are using OTP as backend for it. Maybe we need to read about more OTP, then we can know the information.
Okay, so GraphQL is to query OTP, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. There's another question here. It says, can I run demo the app web with just a few routes and add the rest of the routes later on?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. It says, can I run or demo the app web with just a few routes and then add the rest of the route later on?
What do you mean with routes? You mean the public transport routes or the screen routes?
That's a good question. Rexa, do you want to unmute and just clarify your question really quick?
I think it's the public transportation routes. Yeah.
Yeah, it is more about your backend, and it's the information is not mandatory for the front end. If your backend is empty, the application will continue working, but you will not see any routes there. So I think if you want to mount your own Trufi version for your CD, and if you only have one route or two routes, that's enough. You only need to mount your OTP. We also have a different tools on our repositories, so you can try to mount yourself, or maybe you could ask later to about the autumn.
By the way, here I am the backend expert. So if anything about data, because Trufi Core or Trufi App is just a client application. So what it does is just requesting, demanding the backend, the different services we have for data. So everything what is with data has to do with the backend. So it's not that the scope of this meeting. Maybe I should do also a separate meeting about the backend side, so you can connect all the dots.
Sounds great, John. We can set it up.
Yeah. Okay. So for this meeting, we expect that some backend is already running. Okay. So here, if you want to try, there are a lot of tools where what you can use for trying the GraphQL here. That's the information what we are using. As you can see here is the ID, the name, the code, the root, and other things. Here you can see the same things there. So that was for the part of roots. So now going bottom side. So now here's little tricky part. As you can see, we are using Map Builder, and that comes because we are using a builder. Inside here, you can see Trufi map, but we are passing a call function as parameter. Why we are using that is because our idea in the future is, as you can see, we are using Flutter map as library, but the idea is to give us the option to use Google Maps or Mapbox or whatever type of map what you can have. So here, as you can see on the builder, the map builder is sending the current context and also the Trufi controller. So the Trufi controller is basically containing the information, what's going on inside the Trufi state. If we fetch another, okay, no connection. Maybe I just reload or something break. Okay. Maybe our development server just died. Yeah, too sad. Okay, then continue. I don't know what happened with the current development version. It's this backend is development version, so that's not in production. That nothing related with Soren. So as you can see, that's already working again. Maybe as I already show you what was happening. As you can see, we need to send some builder. So this map builder is giving you the Trufi map controller. The question is, what is Trufi map controller? So we can go inside there, and the Trufi map controller basically is the information what we can provide from the Trufi Core to each map. So as you can see here, we can provide the itineraries. We can also have some behaviors like clean the map, like move bounds, like select itinerary. And this thing is also important because, as you can see, it's also possible to click each itinerary on the map. So that's like a callback in coming from the map, and we need to take into the qubit. So here you can see we are using the plum, and also we are using that one, and it's a little bit more complex and a little bit complicated to explain how it works. But you need to debug it or try to understand by yourself, I guess. It's a little bit hard to explain how it works, especially if you don't a lot of experience there. So also we have the Trufi map state, where you can see the Trufi map layer, the two marker layer. That's only valid for Trufi for the Flutter map, because the icons or the lines or everything what you can draw inside or adopt the map is basically another layer. So that's why we have marker layer options, and also we have the polylines, and that's what we are drawing inside the map. If we go back again to the Trufi map, and let's see what is using here. As you can see, we are using the Trufi map router, where you can have the whole layers, all the markers. Then you can see we are using Trufi Map. This Trufi Map is already the library. If we go to the PubDev here, I'm not sure if you are already familiarized with that, but they also have a lot of information on the README. So here you can see that they need layers. The map itself is another layer. So if you remove this one, you will just see your marker with nothing, with no map. So as you can see here, we have a Trufi map, and also we have a layers builder. So here we are, I'm not sure how it's working, but basically what we have here is the response. So here the first one is the unselected polylines layer. So if this state is not null, it will send as part of the list. So that's that's how it works each line. So basically they are a list of layers. Okay. At the last point, you have a markers layer. So since this marker layers is also type of layers, that's also what you can send. As you can see, this is the layer option. So you can see all layers. So the unselected. So for example, for get it more visible, you can have here from marker layer, and from marker layer is basically this circle here. Okay, and this other icon should be the true one. So if we hide it and I say save it, we can see the changes. Well, it doesn't work as expected. So maybe the from layer is on another side. Maybe Gustavo can help me there, but I expect that works as it. Maybe I can just hide this one and try to see it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the marker about from in true was this one. As I hide it, and there is no more the from to markers here. So basically, that's how works the Trufi map. And I'm not really sure how it works. Okay, then here you can see we have on tab, and on tab you can press. That's basically getting the current status when you press on it, on each marker, and that's calling up, and that's this one is a callback. What we have inside the Trufi map root. Yeah, okay. As you can see, this is the itinerary. When you press one of them, it will take one of the itinerary what you can have, getting of the point. If that's not a null, it will call the qubit function, what is select itinerary, and it will just update the current state, sending the current itinerary. As you can see on the states, what we have before is a from-to objects, and also the plan and the current itinerary, and that's how it works. So the Trufi map is a little bit more complex, and even I didn't understand really well because I didn't do that. Who do that is Gustavo. So if you have some questions about here or more complex question, maybe you could ask him on Slack. So going back to the main behavior of the maps, is, as I mentioned you, we are planning to have a different types of map. So the idea is to bring your own implementation of map. This Trufi map route is the implementation of the Flutter map. So if we return here nothing, like a container, then the map will disappear. As you can see, there's no map anymore. Yeah, so that's one thing what we can improve here. So we can have the implementation of Google Maps. Then you can just send the Google Maps, and inside the Trufi map controller should be everything what you can what you may need, as I mentioned before. That's all of the maps. Here you can see also the buttons, also the markers. The markers is also type of marker. Here you can put the point of the size of the marker, and there are a lot of default values already here. Okay, I think that's it about the maps, and that's it about the Flutter. I know that's not really going deep into the details, because there are a lot of piece of code, and probably we may need more information, and probably we may need more people for trying to explain us. But that was the overview. Yeah, we need a document, but the question is who wants to do it? Who has time for do it?
Just wanted to see if anyone had any questions. Samuel, there's another question here. It says, is there any cache at the application level, or does it perform a query to OTP each time the application needs information about the transport routes? I mean, if the OTP server, the app does not show anything.
Yes. Well, give me a second. I can just discard the map changes, and I can just reload. As you can see, we are catching this result, this plan. If we reload it, that's not requesting again to the backend, because we are using the Hive for save the current status. As I mentioned before, this is the state what we use on whole this screen, right? So it means we want to save it in somewhere, and that's the reason why we have a from JSON and to JSON. So we are using that here. As you can see, we have a local repository, and the local repository is saving each time when you change the value. As you can see here, when you press the update map route state, that's called every time when you reset the places, or reset from places, or even when you fetch something. So if we open it and select plan, we can see the Hive local repository implementation. We have an interface there. That's basically the local repository what the homepage needs. For example, here you have save plan and get plan. That's basically how we are saving and getting the plan. So here we are using the Hive implementation. If you want to know more about Hive or how it works, it's they also have more documentation here. That's basically how you can save words or strings on your local device. And why we are using Hive is because we need the compatibility on Android, iOS, and web. So Hive works really fine with that. So that's the reason why we are using that. So as you can see here, we have a get plan, and also we should have save plan. Okay, so here we have save plan, and you receive a plan data. The plan data will encode it to JSON, and it will save it as a string. So when you reload the app again, it will call the LOAD repository. Then the LOAD repository will call again the get plan. As you can see here, we have a get plan for getting the current status. There are also another type of solutions like hydrated qubits or hydrated blocks, I guess. But we think that's too much for us because we just need to save it and restart again. So that's what we are doing here.
Andres, does that help answer your question?
So basically, the answer should be yes.
He said yes. Okay, any other questions? All right, looks like the chat is clear of questions. Thank you, Samuel.